hear me clearly? So we'll start the stream. Just give me a moment. Just checking if everything is in place. Yeah, okay. We are live. Okay, great. So thanks everyone for joining, and I hope all of you are doing well. So we have a few questions, but we'll wait for some time before more students join in. And this is from Sean. Okay, Salt 2024 paper last night. LRDI was not that easy and scored 38. PWD candidate, should I stop taking mocks now? Also, data showed I would get a call from ABC. Is it true? I hope so. Okay. Should I give 2019 PYQs now? Okay. So, see, with 2019 PYQ, again, the format was different at that particular point of time. So, there is no harm in solving questions from that, but don't take it as a full length test. I mean, don't take it as a 3-hour test. That's not required. You can just solve questions from 2019 if you want to do. There's no reason to get stressed out. You solved 24 paper and whatever score you got, that's okay. LRDA was not that easy, but see, again, everything is relative assessment, right? So you just have to do better than others. Whatever score you got, that's fine. There's no reason to get concerned about what would eventually happen because of this particular score that you have got. Okay. Regarding calls as well, see what happens with PWD especially is that the data varies a lot from year to year. So it's a bit difficult to predict those cutoffs because you don't know how many students are there from PWD in each of the years. So it's a little difficult to predict, and I would suggest you that for the next few days, you don't worry about whether you will get a call from a particular institute or not. You focus on the test and give your best there, and let's see what happens. My usual score was in 40s, but right now it's dropped. Should I fill MDI Gurgaon form? So MDI Gurgaon, yes, you can fill that. That's a decent option to consider, I would say. And you can go ahead and apply for MDI. You should apply to whatever places you think, okay, these are some of the places where I want to see myself, right? So go ahead and make that application. But of course, after CAT, you will have more clarity in terms of what percentile you are going to get. Basis that, it will become a little easier to do your subsequent applications. Okay, this is from the next student. Hi, the past week I haven't gotten above 30 overall and I seem more distracted than before. It's difficult to stay calm and focus. The mind goes blank and the words don't make sense. So again, very, very natural human tendency for that to happen, right? So all of us go through it. It's not that you're the only one who is going through that, or there are people who are completely immune to this particular feeling. Okay, so I will not worry about things too much. You see, the important thing is to relax as much as possible. One of the things that you can do is, of course, sleep more, because the more you sleep, the better connections also you will have in terms of retaining stuff that you're doing right now in the last few days. And it also is definitely far better than just staring at the screen and going through some stuff which is mindless. So I don't see the point of doing that, right? So it's better to sleep a lot, eat really well, and as I keep always saying, right, you have to surround yourself with positive people. The more negative people and negative emotions you stay away from, it will be better for you. So don't try and read a lot of negative stuff, right? I mean, there's enough stuff online which is negative. Don't read that. Don't watch content expecting some miracle to happen, right? So I'll stay away from all of those things as much as possible. And if you are, whatever scores you got, right, doesn't matter whether it was in 20s or 30s or 40s, know that there is a possibility of you doing better than what you have done so far, and you just have to believe in that, and on the test it will happen. I scored 105 in SimCAT 20, but my average is only 65. Can I get 99.9? So 105 in SimCAT 20 is very solid, Arpit. So the past scores that you have got, I'll not worry about that. See, average also means that at a point of time you were not doing very well, and that is why the average is coming to a figure which is not that great if you compare it with, let's say, a 105. So what I'll do is I'll focus on, let's say, the last 3 or 4 SimCATs that I've given, and let's see how you have done in that, right? So you can use that as an estimate. But again, on the CAT day, exactly what will happen, you never know. Most of the times you will end up doing better than what you have got. That is because of the fact that uh, there is percentile, right? So relative assessment, and will you already have, and you will end up put in more effort compared to a lot of other people. So it becomes a little easier in that sense. Okay, but whether you will get 99.9 or not, that's very difficult to say at this point of time. But you prepare with that intensity that okay, remaining days also my focus is okay, I want to aim for a 99.9. You don't worry about whether you will get it or not. You prepare with that mindset that okay, I want to get a 99.9. Okay, this is from Nirmal. ABM में जाना है but score 45-50 आ रहा है IMS PYQ mocks में. Okay, so 45-50 again not bad, right? So 45-50 is reasonably good. Now for ABM program also you need slightly higher score, so you need to push yourself, and ultimately it is going to be on that score versus percentile thing, right? How difficult or easy the paper comes out to be. If it is easy, the cutoff will go up. If it is difficult, the cutoff will drop. You have to focus on getting the best score that you can on that particular day without worrying about the score versus percentile thing. See, while you are taking the test, you should not keep and sit, you should not keep analyzing, okay, last year the score versus percentile was this much, this year it will be this much. That's not your job. That is the job that's for people who have been analyzing the thing, right? So IMS mentors, for example. So we can sit and do whatever we want in the test. I can, in fact, decide not to mark anything and just analyze. But so as a student, I will not sit and figure out, okay, what will be score versus percentile. I'll say, okay, fine. Today I can do 3 sets out of 5. I am going to do 3 sets out of 5, and it doesn't matter whether 2 set was sufficient or not to get a 99 percentile. Aditi, while filling FMS form, I have filled my CAT registration number, but again and again a pop-up shows saying fill mandatory fields. What to do? The contact helping isn't working. Just check if you have filled everything that they have asked on that particular page. Otherwise, it will keep popping up. See if you have maybe put some additional space somewhere, because of which maybe it is not accepting it. Not sure what the exact issue could be, but just check if everything has been filled on that particular page. And again, just a suggestion, right? For all future forms, I would say don't wait for the last date, right? I mean, a lot of students do that, and ideally you should not do it, right? We have always recommended filling the form at least 7 to 10 days in advance, so that you don't encounter these problems towards the end. Because see, towards the end, there will be a lot of people trying to fill the form on the last day. The website might crash, the server might get slow. So we don't want unnecessary things, right? So you can completely avoid this. Future reference, just make sure that you fill the forms well in advance. Shreya, I'm just starting my quants revision today. How should I proceed? Should I complete algebra first and then proceed towards arithmetic, or should I mix chapters? I would say you finish off arithmetic first and then you do your algebra. Arithmetic will have more questions that come from, so better to do arithmetic first and then do algebra. How do I practice QA for the next few days? Okay, so this from Immutable. When it comes to revising quant, you will not have time to go through all the questions now. So we're doing this on Wednesday. I have Thursday, Friday, Saturday with me. What I'll do is I'll ensure that I do at least 2 rounds of complete revision of formula of quant over the next 3 days. So either you can do it, let's say tomorrow and on Saturday, or maybe on Friday and then on Saturday. That's up to you. In this, what you will do is you will go through all the formulae. So let's say you are starting with, let's say any topic. Let's say you start with percentages. So you start with, okay, percentage change, successive percentage change. What if there are 3 successive percentage changes and all of that? If it is profit loss, you will start with very basic. So SP, CP, MP, what is, how percentage discount is calculated. So all of that, and it can happen very, very quickly. So don't think it is going to consume enormous amount of time. I think in somewhere around 4 to 5 hours, it is possible to go through all the formulae across all the topics that are there. Okay, so just go through it, and that should suffice. But do it twice. Okay. Okay. I think I'm feeling burnt out. I'm sleeping longer, and the guilt is eating at me. What do I do? So sleeping longer is good for you. Okay, so don't have any guilt around that. Figure out what you're doing with the time that you have when you are awake, right? So let's say you're sleeping for say 9 hours, right? You still have 15 hours. Let's say you eat, whatever, in all of those things you spend, let's say 3 hours, you still have 12 hours. So do the best utilization of those 12 hours rather than feeling guilty about the extra sleep that you have. Ritvik, I took 3 past year papers, CAT 23, 24, and I got 96 percentile, etc. What would you recommend for the next 3 days? I was planning to take 2 more marks. So 96 point something is looking solid, Ritvik, so good score. What you can do in the remaining days is, if you want to take mocks, I think you can do one on Thursday and on Friday. Friday is the last day when you take a mock. So you don't do anything after that in terms of doing a full length test, because this is what we call in the running world, we call it tapering, right? Which is basically you reduce the intensity of what you're doing as you get closer to the race day. So you start tapering. So you don't do a lot of intensive exercise, that kind of a stuff, right? So I will not sit and do, let's say, 2 mock tests in a particular day, because it is going to take a toll on my performance. So I'll relax as much as possible, maybe one or two mocks if you want to do, one on Thursday, one on Friday. This is from Shreya. I'm getting about 70, 18 mocks. That's good. Sometimes more, less. As a PWD student, what is a safe score to get calls from all blackies according to historical data? A 90 plus percentile would suffice, but then again, you never know, right? See, because it depends on how many PWD candidates are there in that particular year, and there's no data around that that we have about CAT 25. So it's better to aim for as high as possible, right? That's the only thing that I would suggest, and not worry about what score would suffice, because there's no safe score definition. You just have to keep doing whatever you can. Vidushi, I should apply to SPJMR. My profile is 877. I'm a fresher with no work ex, graduate in 24, engineering computer science from BITS Pilani. Okay. So because you're from BITS Pilani, I would suggest that you go ahead and apply, because otherwise 877, I typically would not have recommended people to apply. If you have good extracurriculars, you can go ahead and apply. SC mail 998, no work ex, how much should I target? Please guide me. Okay, so again, see, you have the past cutoff data on the B school zone. So if anybody hasn't seen B school zone, please go to bschoolzone.imsindia.com. Under the cutoff section, you can search for a particular B school, or you can also search for your category as well. And you will get stats about the past couple of years of percentile cutoff. Having said that, you should be aiming for as high as possible. So see, all of those data points, right? They tell you what happened in the history. It doesn't really set the tone for what is going to happen in 2026 admission. What mock should I take as my final mock? Like, I attempted recent PYQs as mocks already, and SimCAT, I only SimCAT 3 to 7 unattempted. Okay, so nothing, no one particular thing that we can recommend here. You can take any of them. I mean, there is data available around score versus percentile if you want to see that. But if you see it beforehand, then you also tend to get biased around your attempt. So that is why recommending a particular thing is not the best thing that I can do. Next student, having CAT on 30th, GMAT on 2nd, chose based on deadlines, feeling completely stuck between the two and feeling low. So yes, they are pretty close to each other. That's the reality. But see, I would say whatever you've done for CAT is also going to help you on the GMAT. It's not that they have completely exclusive syllabus. So what you can do is, once the CAT is done, take a mock GMAT on the first, and then you are ready for GMAT on the second. So I'd not worry too much right now, because there's no point, right? So when you had to book the dates, you decided to go ahead with it, and there's no point changing that, right? See, when you shift the goals, you also know that you're going to shift your efforts. So better not to do it. Getting really low scores from Shreya, nothing is making sense, extreme brain fog during mocks. What should I do now? That's why I said in the remaining days, right? You start reducing the intensity. So don't do stuff which demands you to sit at one place and solve questions for a really long period, right? So that's why 2 mocks. So one, let's say Thursday, one on Friday, and then you start relaxing as much as possible. So you do very limited stuff. You do reading, you do formula revision. All those things are fine, but I don't have to sit and solve questions. Hi Divyansh. Okay, Ansh. Sorry, I joined late right now. That's okay. The stream is going to be there till 6 o'clock or so. I'm an AI 28 in NCHMS MCT exam carried among 32,000 students. My profile is not great. Can I get SPGN profile based call? And when can the call be expected? So see, with 877 generally the chance of getting a call is low unless you have great extracurricular activities, right? See, this AIR 28 that you mentioned out of 32,000 students is a good CV point. It's one of the CV points that you have, but they look at it from the overall your profile perspective, right? Your 10th, 12th, graduation, and your extracurriculars. So considering that 877 is not great, and that you also know, uh, I would say if you have overall good extracurriculars, diverse stuff, then you can apply. Otherwise, better not to. Uh, the living sofa. I've been scoring 70, 18 SimCat, scored 70, 18 SimCat 20. Feel like chilling now. Yeah, 78 is good. Should I give another mock or just kick back and relax or maybe do something else? So if you don't want to take full length mocks, that's okay. That's a call that you can take completely fine. What you can do instead of that is maybe do sectionals. So if you have any sectionals left, you can do, let's say, one sectional each of Quant, verbal, DLR tomorrow and day after, and then you stop. Ashmit, is it fine if I skip algebra and geometry? So right now, yes, these are the times when you have to decide that, okay, I'm going to put more effort on something or I'm going to skip it. So you can skip algebra and geometry if you want right now, but then I'm guessing you at least have some other areas from where you're confident and maybe score higher. Let's say arithmetic, for example. So if you're good at arithmetic, you should be able to sail through. I would say clearing sectionals would not be a very big deal if you're good at arithmetic. Having said that, it's not that you should be skipping completely algebra and geometry. So I would at least do, say, linear equations and quadratic equations, assuming you haven't done it. Linear and quadratic, I can learn it in a couple of hours, right? In geometry, maybe do triangles and circles. If you can do that, again, couple of hours is what you will need to get the basic theory in place and remember some of the formulae. That much at least if you can put in, great. Otherwise, you skip it. That's okay. But see, there are 5 areas in quant: numbers, arithmetic, algebra, geometry, P&C probability. Out of 5, you need to be good at 3 to do well on the guide. If you're skipping algebra and geometry, you better be good in the other 3 areas. Okay. Just a minute. I kind of lost the cue. SimCat 20 score versus percentile is very weird. 68 marks gave 70 percentile. Uh, okay, maybe that happened must have happened because of the difficulty of the test. But that's why I said, right, I've maintained this in all my past sessions also, that I'll not worry about percentile too much, because what's the point? See, ultimately it matters on the D-Day how you do and how well you have done relative to others. So SimCat percentile, I'm not too bothered about it for anybody. I mean, even 6 months back I was not bothered. 3 months back also I was not bothered. So when people come and tell me percentile, I'm like, generally I'm not interested in that too much. But I will say, okay, fine. Have you scored in somewhat of a consistent range over a period of time in terms of absolute score? That's a better indicator. Okay. Prithvi, I have taken enough mocks, 24 slot 3 and SimCat 20 left. Should I take both or just 24 enough? One is enough, Prithvi, if you want to relax a little bit more. One is completely fine. If you want, you can take 2. If you want, you can take 1 and just stop it after that. Okay. Harshita, only confident about arithmetic. Where else can I fetch 2, 3 more questions? So yes, definitely algebra is going to be the next area from where you are going to get these questions. So I think you can look at algebra if you want to add one more area to the overall arsenal that you have. But otherwise, see, any area is fine. I mean, see, the problem with, say, something like a number system, right? You might get just 1 or 2 questions from the whole area. So unless you have done it earlier, I don't know if right now you should sit and study the whole thing. So I will always go with anything that's like a low hanging fruit, something that is easy to do in a couple of hours, or say 4, 5, 6 hours, let's say. For example, logarithms, right? It doesn't take a lot of time to learn logs. It doesn't take a lot of time to, say, by heart something like a basic trigonometry table of 0, 30, 45, 60, 90, sine, cos, tan. You know the simple basics. It might help you to get, say, one question right. Think of something like progressions. Within progressions, think of, say, basic AP, GP, HP. So how many formula are there? Nth term of an AP, summation of n terms of an AP, same for GP. In infinite GP, you have a formula. So anything that has limited formula, I can still do those topics. Anything that is very heavy, like geometry, PNC probability with too many variations that can be done, those are not best recommended for the last this thing that you should take up new. Uh, so that's why better to not do new stuff. Better to worry about or focus on the things that you already know. Which two past year papers would this one of Ritvik? Which two past year papers would you recommend? 24 gets me better score, but percentile is same as 23. I took 3 PY papers. Okay, so see, anything is fine, but I would say post 2020 is what you should focus more on. Pre 2020 also you can do, but 2019, for example, it's a good paper. You can browse through the Quant questions is what I would recommend. So both Quant, DLR, good sets. So if you look at even say 15, 16, 17, 18, very good papers. But they should not be done as test because you don't want to disturb the rhythm that you have set for yourself, which is 2 hour test. So don't take old papers as test, but you can go through them from a practice perspective. In fact, something like a CAT 16, CAT 17, these are also very good papers. Nisha, I'm getting fine scores in VRC and LRDA, but getting negative in Quant. Any tips for scoring at least fine in Quant? Okay. So if you're getting negative, right, it's a sign that you don't know the concepts very well. You're not very confident about it. So you enter it and you make a mistake. So what you need to do is when you're especially getting negative scores is to first reduce the expectation and say, I have 40 minutes. Let's say I have to go through all 22 questions. On average, let's say I need half a minute, correct? Let's say I want to go through in detail, not like just skimming it. Half a minute, so 11 minutes. Let's say 10 minutes. You still have 30 minutes. The question that you know will typically take about 4 minutes to solve, which means that in 30 minutes, I should be able to solve 7 questions. So my objective on that day is to just identify the 7 easiest questions from the paper and do them. Correct? So if I can do that, great. Go through question number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, let's say, and identify 1 or 2 questions that you know how to solve. Then repeat the same process for, let's say, question number 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So every block of 3 questions or 4 questions or 5 questions, you will always find one question that you can do. Right? So even if you, let's say, go through the mock test which is uploaded on the CAT website, and you will see that as you start browsing through the questions, suddenly something you will notice that, okay, hey, I know how to solve this, or this looks very difficult, let me not touch it. So those are the decisions that you have to get better at. The moment you make good decision that, okay, this is doable question, and you know how to do it, then you're done, because solving time will not be very high. See, if you are taking more time to solve, then it means that you're not great at that particular concept, because somebody who knows the concept very well will know exactly what needs to be done. So figure out where the issue is, and if it is happening just because of anxiety and all, that's a separate issue. But if you go with clear strategy that I know that I have scored negative in the past, the only way I can get to a good score is by spending time analyzing the paper in such a way that I find easy questions. So initial 5 minutes also you can spend in just marking out all the questions that you want to do and just worry about them. Okay. My admit card photo and signature is very small, but when I upload it was normal size. Will I be allowed in the exam? As long as it is visible, Naya, it's not a problem. Okay. Nayab Hassan, sorry. One very weird thing, I'm scoring well in SimCAT VRC, but not so well in actual PassCAT VRC section. Okay, so you're prepared to do the difficult stuff if you're doing well on the SimCATs. So don't worry about CAT VRC. You should be fine. Parcha, in some mocks, I have scored 14 VRC, in some other mocks, 13 DLR, in some other 14 Quant. That's very good. So I think you're on the right track. There's absolutely no reason to get concerned. Shantanu, what do you think about the score versus percentile this year? Will it remain more or less similar? So I don't like to do speculation because I can go completely right or I can go completely wrong. So that is why it's better not to do that. The moment I see the paper, then I know that, okay, roughly this is how it will be. But right now it's too early to talk about it. See, you can look at past, say 4 or 5 years of score versus percentile data, and that itself will tell you that there are so many fluctuations that have happened that It's not easy to predict these things. Okay. Should I feel MDI getting 90 percentile only in PY papers, which is not consistent? You can give it a try. See, the thing is, what's the worst that can happen, right? You don't get a call. But let's say you get a call, at least you have a chance to convert it. So I don't look at applications from the unless it is like really far fetched, right? Where let's say somebody is getting in the 60s and the cutoff for that college is say 90, then it's a very big gap. But if let's say I've scored even once, I've got let's say a score of 80, 85, etc. I know that potentially I can get to a 90 comfortably. So let me then apply at least. There will be some institutes that will not call you, so that's okay. So let's say somebody applies to SPJMR, you don't get a call. So be it, right? I mean, that's okay. Scoring 65 to 75 percentile in CAT right now, SC category, what to do? That's decent. Just ensure that you clear the sectionals. That will be the first focus, and then maximize in whatever 1 or 2 sections where you're good at, and you should be fine. I was thinking of giving one more mock. This is from Shreya. On which date should I attempt the mock? Okay, if you're planning to do only one mock from now, you can do it either on Thursday or on Friday. So that's the only thing. Don't do it on Saturday. Thursday or Friday, anything is fine. If I have to make that call, I will say you can do it on Friday. Can you recommend important topics for NMAT and SNAP? So, Vinita, see, with respect to NMAT and SNAP, right, whatever you've done for CAT is enough in terms of Quant. You don't have to do anything extra. In fact, for something like NMAT, they don't even have geometry and TSD as part of it. So, NMAT is a much reduced syllabus compared to the CAT syllabus that you have. With respect to SNAP, there's no such restriction that is there. But if you have done your CAT prep well, SNAP Quant should not be very difficult for you. And in all these tests, you will see that some areas tend to dominate. So in NMAT, for example, arithmetic and PNC probability are the two dominant areas. So most of the questions will come from these two. In SNAP, it is not like that, but arithmetic is the dominant area. So a lot of questions from arithmetic. So I'll say if I have to choose, just focus on arithmetic, and you can add 1 or 2 areas, maybe algebra, maybe PNC probability, and it should be fine. I'm scoring 70 percentile in IMS. Should I apply to MDI? 70 looks like a little on the lesser side, though your predicted CAT percentile is 70 the predicted CAT percentile or SimCAT percentile? See, your predicted CAT percentile is what you should look at. Don't look at your SimCAT percentile to make application decisions. Your predicted CAT percentile, have a look at that. My confidence has dropped so much in the last 2-3 days. My DLR performance has dropped too much. I was able to get 2 sets so easily, usually about that, but now not even one is 100% correct. See, Arush, it seems like a pressure issue that you're overthinking this. And see, I know, and I've been through this. I was a student like all of you at a point of time. So, and even as a mentor, when I go and take the test, right, it is always a little bit of anxiety as to what is going to happen, how am I going to do. So, it's okay. That's the first thing. It's not something new that is happening. And you have to understand that no amount of worrying about it is going to solve that problem. So if I believe in the stuff that I put in, and that is why we tell people to take so many mocks in the run up to CAT as well, is because you have lived through that experience, so that you don't feel any surprises on that day. And see, again, it's not like the best thing that I can tell you, but there is this quote from which movie was it? One of the Spider-Man, I think No Way Home or something like that. Far From Home. What was the movie? I forgot the name. But that is where I think the character of MJ says, right, that if you expect disappointment, you can never truly get disappointed, or something like that. So I would say you have lived through the SimCAT so many times, and you have seen disappointment so many times, that nothing should ideally surprise. So when you go for the test, you have to know that you have done better than a lot of people. Let me ask all of you a question. What do you think is the let's say number of people, right, or percentage of people enrolled at IMS who would have taken at least one SimCAT? Okay, and you would be surprised to know that even that number generally does not cross 80%. So even people who enroll with us, not all of them will end up taking a SIM card, because taking SIM card itself is like a scary experience. A lot of people don't want to do that because they're not very clear why they want to do CAT or why they want to do MBA, so they will drop out. You have continued to put in effort over all these months, and you have survived all of this. So there is no reason why you should be feeling demotivated. In fact, you are ahead of thousands of people who are going to be taking the test on that particular day. So you have to take care of your mindset really well in the remaining days. You have to tell yourself and keep telling yourself that you have done everything that you could have done, and that's it. Scoring good marks in VRC DLR but very poor in Quant. Okay, same thing that I told you, or that I told somebody else, that you look at 4 or 5 questions at a time in Quant, identify 1 or 2 doable questions and do it, and you keep repeating the process. The other option is to spend the initial 6-7 minutes going through all the questions and marking out the ones that you want to do and do them. Whichever approach you're planning to take, you have to try it out in the SIMCAT or a past year paper before you go and implement it on the CAT. Okay. As a PWD student, what are the chances of me getting into ABC when my graduation scores are really low? See, ultimately, when for PWD students, everything is composite score, correct? So if, let's say, the graduation score is not that great, say at an IMA which has 10% weightage, you need to compensate over in something else. So you will have to, let's say, get a higher CAT score, or your 10, 12 should be in place, or you should have work experience to compensate. So ultimately, it's overall thing, and it's too difficult to comment on it right now. Aksh, so I can't tell you the exact number, but we have numbers that go as high as 40,000 or more. My SIMCAT predicted percentile is around 87. Best is predicted is around 95. Any college forms I should fill before CAT? So if you are at 87 predicted CAT percentile, okay, best is predicted 95, right? So you can fill anything which lies between, say, 90 plus percentile range. So 90 plus percentile, whatever it is, you can apply. I have slot 2. Should I go through the formula book on D-Day 2? No, definitely not recommend. So you don't do a lot of stuff on the D-Day, which will create unnecessary panic. I would rather have you stay focused and meditate and relax as much as possible, rather than trying to do something on the last day. Because see, what happens is, and I'll tell you, it has happened with me also. Let's say you start revising formula on the last day, on the CAT day, and suddenly you realize that, okay, there was this particular formula, and I don't know how to sort of implement that. Or you might worry that, okay, in particular question, in a particular SIMCAT, I had made a mistake on this. See, all of those things should have happened by now, right? The reflections and pondering over things. Right now, it's not point to, there's no point on the CAT day to sit and figure it out. Is revising SIMCAT necessary? If yes, how should I revise them? So again, right now you might not be able to revise all of them. I would revise the ones that I know where maybe I didn't do proper analysis, or at least the best performances you can review a little bit, not the worst performances. Would there be another separate form for CAT score based for SPGN, or is the same form? It's the same form, so you don't have to fill another form. The best predicted percentile is 19, one of the SIMCAT, which colleges to apply. Anything in the 85 plus percentile range. Those are the ones that you can focus on. Somebody's written game over. Okay, so it's not like game over. You still have some time before you get there. How many rough sheets do you get? You get a booklet. The booklet would have, it's an A5 size. Yeah, A5. Yeah, A5 size, because it's smaller, right? So it's smaller in size compared to A4. So if you take half of A4, that is the size of the page that you have. But there are a lot of pages. So I think there are 30 odd pages that are there. So it's enough. How to maximize score? Either low LRDI, percentile, Quant, and VRC are okay. See, with LRDI and with VRC as well, the key is selecting the right thing, correct? So identifying which is the right set for me, or right RC for me that I can do. So spend some time in the beginning, and then you can have, you can decide that, okay, priority order, that if I'm going to do these 2 sets, which is the first set that I should do. Please guide to select easy to RCs among 4. A lot of it is about you having some sort of comfort, right? That this is particular thing, this thing I like reading, say technology for example, or science for example. If you like reading that, any RC which will appear from that, you will find it easier to generally handle. But that doesn't necessarily mean that it will happen every single time. So you evaluate it on that day, in that moment, that okay, this looks nice, so let me do it. Okay. How to revise VRC now? There's nothing to revise in VRC. So I will not go back to any of my books to study VRC again, because what's there to study now, right? You know RC, you know VA, you know types that are asked in VA. So there isn't like Quant or anything where there are formulae that you can revise. But sometimes the questions are tough. See, if you comprehend something, right, even if it is difficult and you've understood it, no matter how difficult the questions are, you will be able to get, let's say, if not all 4 correct, maybe 3 correct. It won't happen that you have understood the RC and you're getting questions wrong. Then if you're getting questions wrong, it tells you that you haven't understood what is happening. How many people take CAT without giving a single mock? My estimate would be somewhere close to maybe 60-70,000 people who would be taking the test without having done any serious prep, I would say. See, overall, I would say out of 2.95 lakh or even 3 lakh people in the previous years, the number of people who would have seriously prepared, right, would be somewhere around 1.75 to 1.8 lakh serious prep. I mean, they have taken at least a few mocks, they have joined some sort of coaching, or at least signed for like an online or a self-learning program, that sort of a thing. I get 1995 overall in actual PYQs, but DLR section is always 70-75. Would I get an IM call if this was my actual score? So if you clear the sectional requirement for that particular B school, right, then it's fine. See, out of 3 sections, if you have 2 great sections and 1 section comes out to be okay, but you have cleared the sectional, that is all you need. So you can, let's say, get to a 98 percentile through a combination of, say, a 99 point something, a 98 point something, and a 90 point something also. So ultimately it is the overall score that matters for percentile. 2 sections if you're strong at, 3rd section you have to ensure that you clear the section. Ego in DLR wastes so much time, right? So Ryan Holiday has a book called Ego is the Enemy. So ego, you have to take it out, right? I had my mentor when I was preparing for CAT and I had this ego in the sense that I was very good at Quant, and I still feel that I'm reasonably good at Quant. But that time I was very good. I mean, I had 99.91 in the Quant section. But my ego was basically, how can I not solve this? So if I see a question, I would just sit on it for a longer period. And my mentor told me that you have a fridge at home, right? So you take your ego out, keep it in the fridge, and then go for the test. So very silly thing, but you understand, you get the point, right? That don't let your ego impact your decisions on that particular day. Have been attending these sessions for so long, never got reply from these. Have a nice day. Okay. Sorry if I was not able to take your question, but I have always mentioned that if you have any question and it does not get answered, please leave it as a comment. So we are sorry if you're not able to take your question. Any views on, and of course you can also see how many questions are there in the stream, right? It's practically not possible to answer everybody's question. My profile is 86, 67, 71. Should I apply for SPGen? 2 years of experience, some extracurricular. I am part of one short film which set for IFF. Because you have WorkX, you can still try. But otherwise, with 67, 71, I would have said almost no. But considering your 2 years of WorkX and extracurriculars, you can give it a try. I'm in slot 3. I don't want to see any paper reviews from slot 1 and 2. Am I wasting opportunity by avoiding them, or is this the right approach? Just watch the first take of slot 1. So don't try and find what happened in slot 2. Just first take of slot 1 to see if there is any change in the number of questions. I panic in LRDS section if I can't crack it. And by the way, we also have this thing that we do, which is on Telegram channel of IMS, that we send out if there is anything as a text message. So if you don't want to watch a video, you can just go through the text message that, okay, there is a change in the number of questions, if any. I panic in LRDS section if I can't crack sets and then end up not doing well. See, when you know that you exhibit a certain kind of behavior, uh, you have to fix it, right? Because you are aware. If you don't know it, then you can't fix it. But now you know, so there's a way to fix it. You don't need to panic if you do the process correct, which is, let's say, 5 sets. Initial 5-6 minutes, go through all the sets quickly, figure out something that you spot is doable, start solving that. Solve it in, let's say, 10, 12, 15 minutes. You will still have time to do one more set. So in the first 20 minutes, right, if you can get one set out of your way, it immediately will boost your confidence. But even then, if, let's say, for whatever reason that does not happen and it goes to, let's say, 25 minutes, you will still have 15 minutes to do one set, and that might be enough for the sectional cutoff. I know CAT is unpredictable, but what's your prediction? How many DI sets or LR sets? I think the number of questions will remain the same and they will not change it too much, because there's no point creating too many surprises unnecessarily. I mean, what's the point? What are you trying to get at? Correct. But what they can do maybe is change the difficulty in some sense. So maybe see, VRC for a while they haven't done anything to it. I don't know if they have that in mind, and ideally they should do something about it, because it has become very predictable. Though they made changes last year, question type removal and all of that, which is one way to surprise people. The other is to increase the difficulty. Right? See, if you're a serious CAT aspirant, right, you will be happy with a difficult paper because it segregates people. You don't want the paper to be very, very easy. So if what I would like to see is, let's say, papers where typically 50% of the paper gives you 99%. If that happens, then I am happy, because then it is like in line with what has happened in the CAT in the past. But something where that drops suddenly, something like a CAT 23, I don't want it, because again, CAT 23, I didn't see the point of making difficult quant. I mean, what are you trying to do, right? My reaction is the same for my CAT quant. I mean, what are you trying to do? Why do you have an insanely difficult quant section for a test like MyCAT, which is as an institute known for marketing, advertising, communication? So how many of them are going to sit and do a lot of heavy math? So some things are like pointless. My mock scores were ranging between 60 to 81 in the last few days, and it has been decreasing. It has been harming my morale now, to be honest. Any suggestions? So Roshni, take a chill pill, right? So relax. Maybe take only one mock from now, maybe on Thursday or on Friday, and that's about it. Do a few sectionals, and that's it. Is one set very doable in DLR, Mayank? Yes, that is always the case. You'll always find one particular set which is doable. Right? 976 engineer SC 2 years experience. What's my goal percentile? Okay, so see, on the B school zone, right, you will find for your category what the cutoffs are. So what I would suggest is go to B school zone, go to cutoff section, search for SC category, and it will show you percentile numbers of the last few years for different B schools. Now, depending on which B school you're targeting, you can see maybe it will show you that, okay, 80 plus is enough, 85 is enough, or whatever. Add a couple of percentile to that and target that much. So don't go with what has happened in the past, and add a couple of percentile as a higher aim to be safe. Okay. I'm confused whether to apply for MDI or people. What is happening? Okay. I have scored 77 as my highest in SimCAT and consistency scoring 16 mocks SC category. Should I apply for MDI IFT? 996. 77 marks in SimCAT is pretty good, and again, 99 non-engineer is decent. So category student, so I think worth a shot. You can apply. There's somebody called Preetham U5D. See, guys, I mean, if you want to write something nonsense, please don't join the stream. It just becomes very difficult for me to take questions from others, right? So please, I mean, if anybody from IMS is on the stream, please remove this person. I'm not able to access FMS site. Yeah, I mean, ideally you should have filled the form earlier, right? So let me be honest with you. So for future reference, just make sure that you fill the forms well in advance, because you never know how much load is going to happen on the last day. So please don't wait for the last day and fill your forms. There is some issue. Yesterday also there was an issue. Today also people are facing problems because of this only, that there's too much load. But they have extended the deadline. So you still have some time before you can fill the form. What's the percentile needed for IMs for GEMs with less than 3 months experience and 2-year gap? How will my profile affect? 92, 18, and 92. So your 10 12 grad is pretty solid. 3 months experience is also okay. I mean, you're not getting points at most places, but it's okay. So 10 12 grad is very, very good. And for a general engineer male, targeting a 99 is something that you should keep, like a bare minimum target. And from there on, whatever. What to expect in CAT if 85 percentile is the best I got till now in PYQs? Maybe 90 plus, somewhere between 90 95 or even more. See, I can't answer that because there is no way for anybody to answer it. You have to trust what you can do on that day and just go and do it. The more you think of your past attempts, the more it bothers you. And it has happened with me in the past, where I've sat in 1 year coming from a very, very good attempt in the previous year and just constantly thinking about that, right? That I was able to do so much last time, whatever. It's completely okay. Whatever you got in the past, you can just leave that aside and say, okay, that's one thing that happened, but I can do better. What to do in LRD in the last 4 days? Ananya, I'll not do too much. Honestly, I'll maybe take a few sectionals. If you can do 1 or 2 mocks, great, full length mocks. But otherwise, what you can do, however, is, see, there are broadly these types that you know that, okay, there is tournament, there is 3 set when, there is 4 set when. Maybe you can do like go through one particular example or one particular set of that. So let's say you do one set of 3 set Venn diagram, one set of 4 set Venn diagram, and so on. This is from Bapat Bhargav. In my cat admit card, I have had a clean shave, but now I have beard. Should I trim it? It's quite indistinguishable. No problem. So that it should not matter too much. You carry 1 or 2 identity proofs with you. That's it. My VSC scores dropped from 30 plus to 1520. What should I do? Predicted percentile is 94. Predicted percentile 94 is great. Minor fluctuations that have happened in the last few mocks, I will not worry about them. See, a lot of times it happens, and you would have seen this in a lot of sports. Very, very relatable, that somebody in a particular series not performing well, let's say test series, right? You have test matches like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. First didn't do well, second didn't do well, third didn't do well. Suddenly in the fourth one, the person has done well. So you never know what will happen on that particular day, but your prep is enough to get a good score. You have to believe that. I mean, somebody uh, who has spent so many hours preparing, going through the content, taking mocks, is ahead of a lot of people. So why worry? Best colleges in NCR for Prodman roles: FMS, Great Lakes, IFT, IMT applied till now. Thinking for IMI, have filled NMAT and SNAP, WorkX 24 months. So firstly, don't put location constraints as much as possible, because you have so many opportunities outside NCR as well. Now, when you look at Prodman, all the IMs, obviously. So when you look at CAT, through CAT, all the IMs that you can target. ISB is again great for product management. So you can look at ISB as well if you have 2 years or 2 months, 2 years of experience. Okay, so you can. I don't know if it is exactly 24 or less than. If you're less than 24 months, you can apply to the PGP while as well. But if it is more, then you can skip that. Um, then you have mentioned Great Lakes. That's fine. IFT, IMT, MDI is also good, so you can apply to MDI through NMAT, obviously NMIMS, SIBM Pune. These are the places to go. So Prodman roles are like, if you get into any of the top 50 colleges, you will get product management roles. And even outside that, there are product management roles. It's not like only top 50 offers it. Should I fill SPJMR form? My mock average is very bad, expecting 90 plus. Fresh engineer 9, 10, 8. Good extracurriculars. So good extracurriculars, yes. See, anybody who thinks that my extracurricular, if I let's say compare it with let's say 10, 12 other people, it stands out, then you should apply. But if you think no, my extracurriculars are not great. So in let's say when I was a student, I had applied to SPJMR and I didn't get a shortlist because my profile wasn't great, right? I kind of knew it that I'm not going to get a call. But so and I had very basic extracurriculars, so nothing great. So if you think that it's not great, it's a sign that you should not apply to SPJMR unnecessarily. 788 male, BCom 24 months. Not sure should I fill the form because before exam or after getting the score, MCAT 40, 50. Any suggestion for best college? Uh, See, with that kind of profile, anyway, something like an SPJMR is always difficult. Maybe because of WorkX, you can still consider applying if you have good profile in terms of extracurricular activities. And anyway, right now you have what very few options where you have to decide today that okay, I want to apply. So let the cat happen and you apply after that. EWS art student, what should be my target percentile to get an IM? My highest was 98 raw score in SimCAT, 71 in SimCAT. 98 raw score is very good. So you can potentially get into an IM pretty comfortably if you are able to replicate your performance, even with like 887. Though that 887 is not great because there are a lot of art students also with better profiles. Having said that, maybe like a 98 plus percentile aim if you can keep, that should be good. VRC score stagnant in 20s, DLR cons, I'm doing well. I just want to clear VRC cutoff. See, remaining days, you can't suddenly get better at VRC. But what you can do is, okay, these 4 RCs are there. What is the area that I'm comfortable with? Let's say there's one passage from history and you like reading history. So jump into that. If you think there's one from, say, greenhouse gases, and I like reading about greenhouse gases, so you read that. You have to target 2 RCs and say 4 VA questions. If you can do that, and your accuracy you take care of, you are on your way to get to a good score. But if not doing 2 RCs, then 1 RC and maybe 6 VA questions, 6 or 7. When I give a mock at home, I score pretty good, but when I go to a public library to attempt a mock, I can clearly notice a significant dip in my score, nearly 12 to 14 marks, especially in 7-8 in VRC. So this is the reason why in some of my sessions in the past also I mentioned that you go to some external place and take it so that you get used to it. So see, now because you have tried it a couple of times, it won't impact you as much when you go for the actual CAT. Can PWD student with 966 get into top IMs? Yes, why not? What should I do now in VRC? My score has been consistently low. Nothing much, honestly, but you can go and do analysis of, let's say, last 3 or 4 SimCATs to see where exactly mistakes are happening. So what exactly are you missing because of which your score is coming down, your accuracy is low? So that you can focus on. Yeah, Piyush, yes, that is true what you have written. So that's what it is. And even last stream, there were questions around that, and I'd mentioned that it is normal and natural for all transitions to happen at workplaces. So that's about it. It should not impact you as a student in any way. Getting 6 to 8 questions in Quant right, but I feel it is still not enough. I have now sat and revised whole Quant with formula given. I have not done any such modern math geometry, only okay. So 6 to 8 questions in Quant is decent, right? In any paper, if you take any difficulty, 6 to 8 questions would have been good. In 23, it would have been fantastic. But mostly because in the recent times, you have been taking things which are similar to like a 24 difficulty, 6 to 8 questions is good. You have to figure out, if you analyze the last couple of mocks, see where you are spending, let's say, more than 4 minutes. So if there are any questions that you're getting right with 4 minutes on them, or maybe more than 4, those are the ones that you need to take care of. Okay. Quant, sometimes I miss last questions. No, that is because you are sitting on questions for a longer time, right? So you have to do this thing that I told you, 3 to 4 questions you see, decide which one you want to solve, and then move on. So it will not happen that you end up not seeing anything. and ideally that should not happen to anybody. I'm able to solve 1 or 2 questions in Quant, and I just want to clear VA. Uh, See, as I said, 1 RC plus 6-7 verbal questions, or 2 RCs with 4 verbal questions. That's the minimum thing to do or aim for. I'm able to solve, okay, this I've answered. 897 SCBA Psychology, no work X. How much percentile for mid or top IMs? With SC, see, something like an 85 plus can also take you there, right? But then if you want to keep like a decent aim, I think 90 plus is what you should be aiming for. Vinny, I answered your question that you're able to solve 1 or 2 in Quant. I just want to clear Quant, right? So same approach, 3-4 questions at a time, have a look at it, identify the one that you can do, or spend the initial 7-8 minutes, go through all the questions, mark out the ones that you want to solve, and just solve them in the remaining 30 minutes that you will have. Is KJ Somaiya good college, also IBS? See, in their own right, they're reasonably decent institutes. What you need to understand is, when you look at any institute, it's not good or bad, right? Every institute has thousands of students that it has graduated over the years. What you need to focus on is, when I look at this institute versus some other institute, how do they compare against each other? And that comparison makes sense after you have converted, right? Or after you have looked at the cutoffs and all of that, and you have your score so that you can take a decision. With say KJ Somaiya, the problem is that of course they have a lot of students. Same is the issue with IBS as well, that you have a lot of students. The batch size is pretty huge, and there's always a challenge to place so many people. So that is why in a bad placement year, such institutes will take a hit. But if you look at the placement figures that they offer, they are in a range, and if you're okay with that range, then you apply. See, every institute, right, is not for everybody. When you think of, say, let's say somebody has graduated from IIT Bombay and earns, let's say, 30 LPA, that student will think of only maybe what, 6, 7, 8 institutes in the country that will take the brand further. It's not going to make sense for the student to even go to, say, something like an IIM Udaipur for that matter. But for somebody else, IIM Udaipur is the best institute. So that is why institute comparison should be done later, not at this point of time. If you think, okay, fine, placement figure, look at it. If you think this placement figure I'm okay with, then you apply. EWS 998, 1 year work X, what could be safe percentile? Okay, so I'm not going to answer any more safe percentile questions. There's nothing safe. On the B school zone, you have cutoffs of B schools from the last 2-3 years. You also have score versus percentile table for the last 4 years. You can have a look at that, but it's not going to make a huge difference over the next 3 to 4 days. So you can park it. Don't worry about things right now. What colleges would you recommend to a gem looking to enter business analytics? My percentile in PY is around 96, 10, 12 UG, 92, 18 and 92. Yeah, so BA, you have PGDBA. That's the best course that somebody can get into. You can obviously go to any of the IIMs and do more electives from business analytics. You have IIM Bangalore PGPBA. You have specific business analytics programs offered by other IIMs. All of those can be looked at. I scored 4 in Q in SIMCAT 20. I usually score 15, 20. It was supposed to be my last mock and I wanted to end it on a good note. Should I give any other mock now? See, Aditya, if it is completely around that, right, that you want to have a good score, you can definitely look at the score versus percentile tables of the last few SIMCATs and see which one is high scoring on QA, and you can jump onto that particular test and take it. Though there will be a bias, I'm saying it's okay if that helps you. Anything that will boost your confidence, you should do it. Okay, all right. So we are more or less done. It's been an hour, but I know that I could not answer a lot of questions. So what you can do is, maybe I'll take one last question from the student who has put it multiple times. I completed my syllabus and mocks. What to do in the next 4 days? Okay, so let's end it on that note. I'm going to share as a student what you should do in the remaining days, right? So I have 4 days, right? So we have Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Sunday obviously is gone. So Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Out of 3 days, I will take mocks on 2 days or 1 day, depending on how many I have done so far. If I haven't done enough practice, you can in fact do 2 mocks. If you have done a lot of practice, just 1 mock is fine. Friday will be the last day when you take a full length test. So on Thursday or Friday you take mock, or on both days you can take it, and you analyze those performances very well. You can do formula revision of all the quant formulae twice in the next 3 days, preferably once between Thursday and Friday, and then once on Saturday. You can do a few DLR set practice or revision of individual topics like 3 set when, 4 set when, tournaments, and all of that. And I will do about 30 to 45 minutes of reading every day from any newspaper or magazine. This is the only stuff that I'm going to do, and that's it. Okay, so I'll not do anything more than this. Where do I check all of these things? So we publish it, right? We send the exact details on all the channels, Telegram channel that we have, the score versus percentile, and you can ask your friends. Some of them might have access those links, but otherwise, if it is not there, just leave a comment, and I will share it with you. No, on the performance tab, Shubhi, what will happen is you will see only for the mocks that you have taken. So you'll not be able to see it for the ones that you have not taken. We publish it on a Notion page. So if anybody wants any of the links that I kept talking about, if you don't have that, please leave a comment and I'll try and get back as soon as I can. Okay. GEM 897 25 months work X, what's the percentile to target for Blackie, SPJMR, FMS? See, with 897 and 25 months of work X, you would still need like a pretty solid 99 plus, right? And the higher the better. Even at 99 point whatever, you might not be able to get a call from some of them, but 99 plus will open up a lot of doors for you. So that's the aim to keep. 50 marks, is it a good score? Yes. I mean, in most years, it would have given you a reasonably decent percentile. In fact, if you again go to the B school zone, and I had it open, but I kind of closed it, a score of 50, right? If you see last year, it would have given you a score of around 86 percentile. The year prior, a 50 would have given you something between 90 to 95 percentile. A 50 would have given you 90 percentile in CAT 22, and it would have given you like an 85 percentile in CAT 21. All of that data is available on the B school zone. So I suggest that you check it out, and score versus percentile, and both past year cutoffs as well. Okay. So that's it. I don't know if I'll see you again on Friday or not, but we'll mostly keep a stream to sort of talk about some easy, chill topics and not really talk about cat. So if at all of you are going to come on Friday and talk about things that are not related to cat, we can do a stream. Otherwise, we will not do a stream from here on. Okay. So all the best. If you have any questions, you can always leave it as a comment. We have recently released a 6-minute video on our channel. I suggest that all of you check it out. You listen to it, you download it, you keep the recording with you. And it's something that I recorded. In fact, I had written about 10 lessons from CAT after I completed my 10 CATs. So the moment I took my 10th CAT, or rather I was going for 10th CAT, I wrote this thing that there are 10 lessons that I want to share. So it was written on my LinkedIn, and then I decided to now change it into a voiceover. So please listen to it, and if you find it useful, then you can let me know. Okay, great. So thanks everyone for joining. Wish all of you all the best. Hopefully, we'll have a stream again on Friday. But if you're not having it, all the best from my side. Okay, I'm sure all of you are going to do well. Don't panic. There's enough to be done. Okay, so don't worry about anything that will happen from now on till the CAT day, and even during CAT, because if not CAT, there are hundreds of other things that can be done in life. Okay, so don't worry. Okay, bye. Take care.